Sure.
So let me talk about the issue of no-fault divorce. I've got a couple of things. I'm going to grab this right now. I went through one of these no-fault divorces in 2012, and that's when I found out there was nothing I could do to stop it. Now, do you imagine having a lawsuit knowing that there's a predetermined outcome that you will lose? Or if you're filing for divorce, there's a predetermined outcome that you will win? That is major injustice. It violates every principle that we know about what should take place with due process, with being able to borrow a lawsuit, with mounting some type of a defense. In no-fault divorce, there is no defense. You can't stop it. Divorce attorneys will tell you that. One law firm even has it on their website. Corrupt law firm, but they're honest about one thing. You cannot stop no-fault divorce from taking place unless you can convince your partner that, please stop it, please stop it. And this is codified in what we call the Texas Family Code. Now, the Texas Family Code, to me, I'm going to show you something really quickly here. Now, this is not the Texas Family Code, and this is not the Texas Family Code, but this is about how large it is. It's the government telling you how your family should be run.
Yeah.
They call it the Texas Family Code. Oh, how nice. I call it the Marxist Monstrosity. It is contradictory. It violates a lot of the freedoms and principles that we should be living our lives by. And I'm going to go over that just in a little bit here. But this is the monstrosity that we have, that the government tells us, here's how you should run your family. God has not ordained the state to be father and mother.
Amen.
God has ordained you and me to be fathers and mothers, and to rear our children in the fear of God. In our Texas Constitution, you know the word God is mentioned 4 times? In the Marxist Monstrosity, and the Texas Constitution is a couple hundred pages, right? The Marxist Monstrosity, as of the most recent version, is 1,633 pages. God is not mentioned once. In other words, it is a godless document. It is a Marxist monstrosity from my perspective. So, I said, I went through a divorce. Nothing I could do to stop it. Started to speak out about the issue of no-fault divorce. Most people had no idea what I was talking about. And I was very hesitant in what I started to say. Because you realize that speaking out against this stuff, people are going to be like, what are you? You're nuts. You're crazy. And there were a lot of people that said, you're nuts and you're crazy. And sometimes you had to wonder, well, are they right? I don't know. But eventually we took a case to the Supreme Court. This was Panko v. Panko. We've been able to group some people throughout the states talking about the issue of no-fault divorce. There are flagrant constitutional violations all over the place. It violates the principles of Christianity. It violates everything that we know a marriage is supposed to be. It violates the state's purpose for marriage. But this was not heard. This was during 2020. It was accepted by the Supreme Court, at least for a review to look at. That was when we had the Trump-Biden thing going on. I realized that maybe there'd be a 1% chance at best, but 1% chance is a whole lot better than a 0% chance. So we tried it. So there's that. So I'm going to start talking a little bit more about the issue of no-fault divorce right now. And I would also say, too, that in Texas, if there are precedents that we could get rid of this. And there's also another issue. Well, I'll talk about this later on. Let me just go into this. So as I mentioned, the Texas Constitution 4 times mentions God. Now, 2 of the times are in the official oath of office in Article 16, Section 1. In the preamble to the Constitution, we are humbly invoking the blessings of Almighty God as we seek to establish this Constitution. The other area is in Article 1, Section 6. And I will get to that in just a moment. But when you look at the Marxist monstrosity here, again, there's no word, there's no mention of God within it whatsoever. We'll talk a little bit about the historical thought pattern behind, I think, what is in the Texas Family Code, the Marxist monstrosity. So Going back to Plato, Plato had the idea that family structure should be abolished among the ruling class, the guardians of society. Communal child rearing and collective responsibility would be the communal collective responsibility, and would take place in the community. Children would be raised collectively. Why was that? Because we want our children to love society more than family. We want our children to be good societal people, and abolishing, the rearing of children by themselves, where children learn to love parents, would be good for that. Throughout history after that, there were many utopian socialists. One man thought that the state should play a greater role in the education and socialization of children. And we've seen what's happening with that. I'm glad to see there's a strong homeschooling movement coming into place right now, private schooling. One person said get rid of the family, live in communes. Another person wanted to weaken the traditional patriarchal structure of society and have complete gender equality, diminish the power of the traditional family, restructure the family. Marx and Engels, and when I talk about the Marxist Monstrosity, one of the things that Marx and Engels did in the 1840s, when they wrote the Communist Manifesto and other writings after that, they wanted to abolish not just private property, but they wanted to abolish the family. They wanted to abolish marriage. They wanted to make divorce easy. They wanted, as I mentioned there earlier, we're going to have these, what Lenin took from Marx and Engels, that we would have the commitment to marriage and family was not there. In fact, if you look at the Communist Manifesto, this was beginning on page 45 of it, they talk about, do you charge us with wanting to stop the exploitation of children by their parents? Children are mere instruments of production, and parents are exploiting them. To this crime, we plead guilty. So in the communist framework, evidently, if you're a parent, somehow you're guilty of exploiting your children. And we have a member of our Texas legislature, Gene Wu, Democrat, and I call him CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, Gene Wu, because that's the ideology that I think he embraces. If he's not a card-carrying member in person, I think he is in his heart. He is a CPS attorney as well, to the best of my knowledge. There was a resolution last session, and all the resolution said is that we should honor the importance of fathers. In the Juvenile Justice and Family Issues Committee, everybody voted for that resolution except for one person, the communist, again in my opinion, Gene Wu. But he is on the committee that's going to tell you how to run your family in Texas. We had divorce attorneys on the committee that are going to tell you how to run your families in Texas. Divorce attorneys, yeah, marriage is good, but we make our living off of divorce. So what are they going to do? Are they going to strengthen the families, or are they going to be looking out for their pocketbooks? We have people down there that are very much in favor of the LGBTQIA plus whatever ideology. They're going to tell you how families should be run in Texas. And the former Speaker of the House and other speakers of the House have put these people into place. So when you go down there to testify in front of this committee, you already know that you're looking at least a couple of votes against you. There was one time there were 3 divorce attorneys on the JJFI, Juvenile Justice and Family Issues Committee, 3 out of 9. And then we had other people there, so we started with 4 votes against us, almost. Sometimes they would change to our side. But how do you pass good pro-family legislation when the committee is stacked against you, committee that is stacked against you by your own Republican Speaker of the House? It's extremely difficult. Within the Marxist Monstrosity, otherwise known as the Texas Family Code, the thought pattern still persists. Children ultimately belong to the state. Oh, we will pretend that they're your children. We'll act like they're your children. But if we need to, we can take control of your children. And basically what they have done, they've destroyed the idea of family. One of the things that they do, they talk about issues like the best interest of the child. You know, the best interest of the child. We have to do something. We always have to have the best interest of the child. Adolf Hitler said that you can do a lot of things by just claiming that you're doing it for the best interest of the child. And our Texas Family Code has mentioned that the best interest of the child, either directly or indirectly, over 140 times. You know what's the interesting thing, though? Nobody knows what it means. It means whatever somebody thinks it means.
That's right.
Just a couple of months ago, the legislature was meeting to say, well, maybe we should define the best interest of the child. Because the best interest of the child may be to let a mother take 2 twins to California where she's going to chemically or physically castrate one of them. And our Texas Supreme Court, with one exception, John Devine, voted to allow her to do that. How is that the best interest of the child? This is Texas. Supposedly the red state Texas. Supposedly conservative Texas. And 8 of our justices let this take place. I suppose that was in the best interest of the children.